do, 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 do. This will be a quickie tonight, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It is February 2nd, 2022. I'm Tim Anderson, aka Renfill. I'm joined by Christina Barrios, aka Chrisma,
Yeah.
Joey Anderson, aka Idildor, whose internet may crap out in the middle of this because of storms in his area. If it does, we're just going to continue onwards because it'll be a quick meeting tonight. This is just the stand up for the Wandering Hermits. What did we do last week? What are we getting ready to work on? All that good stuff for the Weave in the Void, which is our three-part project, which is a tabletop game, a um, point and click adventure game, and a book series. And I'll let you go first, Joey, because your internet might poop out. That way you can get yours out of the way. You're muted, I think.
This week I did worked on some business stuff, working on getting bank accounts set up, stuff like that, and then also um, did a little bit of point and click development as far as buildings, because that's all I'm working on right now is trying to finish out the rest of the buildings. Hopefully tomorrow and the rest of the week should get a good chunk of time um, to sit at the computer and flesh some of those out, as long as we don't lose power or anything like that. Um, yeah, just trying to get those buildings done, because once I get the buildings done, then all the fun stuff gets to happen.
Which is all the writing and description text and everything else, which I gotta prep for.
All the
Chris,
stuff I
yeah,
need
yeah,
you for.
I'll be ready. Chris, you're next.
For me, I this day I am working in the same the last week. I am doing art about characters.
Characters.
Yes, characters. Yes, about
Experimentation is
that.
what she's doing.
Yes.
And I'm shortly going to probably have her start working on maybe a couple of cover mock-ups, but we'll see. She also hasn't had as much time as normal because we've been prepping for the move, so there's a lot of stuff that's going on there as well. It takes her time away.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my stand-up. One of the things that I'm thinking while the three of us are here, I'm thinking just because we have to move and Chris is the one who's taking point on that, like setting up the
Yeah.
movers and doing packing and every stuff while I'm working on getting tabletop stuff. I may end up just going ahead and just continuing to publish book chapters without her artwork in it at the moment. Just at the very least, so we've got those coming out for um, the patrons. The big thing for the artwork is to have that ready when the book is published, but also it's a great thing to have for the patrons. But it's looking like it might not be feasible because I need her to be working on some cover mock-ups as well as continuing to experiment with that. And if we weren't in the middle of trying to move, I don't think it would that be because she's been balancing all that before and it's been fine. But considering, I think my focus just went out. Um, since we're in the middle of moving right now, her time is less. So I may just end up publishing the next 2 or 3 months worth of chapters without artwork, and then she'll just get artwork added as she has time. That's just the reality of having to move. It's going to be something that takes time. Um, what did I get done this week? I got tons of stuff done, but it's all tabletop. So I did a 4-hour stream on Monday. I banged out. I think we might have lost Joey just now. Banged out the very last map in the uh, module, so that was the sewer map, and then I banged out part 5 and part 6 of the module. So draft 1.0 of the module is completely done. That module is called Escape from Parthana, which is the first module in our Weave and Void campaign. So draft 1.0 is done at this point. Moving beyond this, I can't hear you. Can't hear you now, but you're back on video.
I'm back, yeah,
Okay.
for a second.
Yeah, for a second anyway. So draft 1.0 is done for the module. Maps are done. I got all that done on Monday. Yesterday I prepped maps. Today I did. We got all the map packs published on Patreon. So there is there's 20 maps in each pack. There's a 2K map pack, which is all the maps in 2K, which should be enough for any VTT program because you're never going to be blowing those up to massive proportions. But we also have the 8K versions for people who are actually playing on a virtual tabletop screen set into a table because those can be blown up to 8K resolution and you can put your miniatures on top of the table. So we've got the VTT ready ones for the 2K, and then we have the 8K ones ready for the people who are just using digital tables. So both those are ready. Those are agnostic versions, no POIs. I literally renamed the maps to be like city map instead of the map of Parthana because then it can just be a city for anybody. It could just be any sort of city that they want it to be. But obviously, for our purposes, it is the city of Parthana. And what I'm going to be working on tomorrow is doing the POI versions of those maps, which have all of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the POIs in it for the module. And those POIs represent locations or encounters. And then that's the next stage of the module for me is I'm going in and I'm working on the encounters section and tying all of the encounters to the maps, getting those maps into. I probably won't put them into the book yet though for layout purposes. That'll work till later. So just getting the POIs and encounters completely linked and all that fleshed out, and also working on the side quests, which are part two of the module, which is when they get to the city of Parthona in part one, and then part two they have time to explore and do side quests if they want. Part three, a little less so because things are starting to get locked down. By part four, there's no more exploring. So really, they've only got a couple of sections. And the side quests are being offered by NPCs who are played by none other than the player characters who playtested our campaign back in August and September. So all of those characters, I don't remember all the names. Lance, Ragalorm. Um, I'd have to go back and look at the actual YouTube videos to see the names of those characters, but they will be the NPCs who are offering the quests, the side quests to players. So that's what I'm working on, and I'm trying to get all that done so that I'm ready for the when you need me to start writing description text and everything else, I can move over to that. Once draft 2 is done with the module, I'm done until it's ready for layout and polish. And so get draft 2 done, then I go work on point and click description text and quest dialogue, and then at some point I'll be switching over and doing draft 2.0 of the source book, which is adding the spell lists for the mages, church stuff, and fleshing. I want more of everything. I want more classes. I want more. No more races, but I want more classes and I want more factions. So I'm gonna be
Mhm.
thinking about the factions and probably coming up with storylines of things that have happened in the past 500 years between various factions, just to flesh the history out even more than we've already done so. So that's my February in a nutshell. And that's probably where we should wrap up before your internet dies again. Um, So that's what we're working on. If you want to know more about everything what we're working on, you can find more information over at our Patreon page, patreon.com/wandering hermits. We did release a launch window for the tabletop books. Those are going to be out in May or June. You can pre-order those now through the Patreon page, and with your pre-order, you get access to all of the 2K and 8K maps individually, as opposed to having to pick those up as packs. And of course, you can also pre-order the point and click game, and that gives you access. If you are a $25 a month subscriber, you get access to the alpha and beta playtesting. And we are going to have another round of testing coming up, probably in the next couple of months, to start testing all of the quest lines that are being written for this second phase. So if you want to get in on that, don't forget to pre-order today. You can also support for as little as $3 a month. It's a great way just to say thanks for what we're doing. You can read the book chapters as they get published, check out concept art and all that other stuff. Yeah, join our Discord. Links are down below. Don't forget, tune in live Sunday nights here on Twitch as we continue to play D&D. We're working our way through. I'd say we're about two-thirds of the way done with the campaign at this point. We got, I think, about 5 sessions left, 5 or 6 sessions left, and then we'll be wrapped up. We will be trying to wrap up by March 6th is the sort of end line there. And then we're going to be taking a short break between campaigns as we prepare for the Weave and Void campaign, which will be kicking off at the same time we launch the modules and the source book. But we will be continuing to do some fun stuff on Sundays, D&D tips, fantasy ground tips, so on and so forth. So hopefully you'll stay tuned for all that stuff. Thanks, everybody. See you next week. Stay safe out there.
Ah.
Good night.